An 18-year-old model fell from a 20th floor balcony in Malaysia.
And 18 was found dead on the 6th floor of Cap Square residence on December 7, 2017.
Police called it suicide. A coroner called it an accident. But 8 years later, a judge ruled it was murder and condemned the investigation as a total failure and ordered the government to pay her family over $260,000 for botching the investigation. This is the story of Ivana Smit, the predators who targeted her, and the cover-up that nearly buried the truth. Ivana Esther Roberts Smit wasn't Malaysian by passport, but ask anyone who knew her, and they'd say she was Penangite through and through. Born in the Netherlands in 1999 to Dutch-Chinese-Indonesian heritage, her life took a major turn before she even hit kindergarten. When she was just 3, little Ivana missed her grandparents so badly she literally stopped eating. Her parents, juggling hectic work schedules, made the desperate decision to put her on a plane to Penang, where her grandparents had just migrated. That's where she would spend most of her childhood, right by the beaches of Batu Ferringhi. Ivana lived the life of your overachieving, multi-talented Malaysian kid. She spoke fluent Mandarin, had a black belt in Taekwondo, played football, guitar, piano. By 13, she was already walking runways in Korea and Taiwan. Her grandpa said she collected 35 different certificates from all the courses she attended. At 15, she placed second in a Malaysian supermodel search. She shuttled between Malaysia and Europe for modeling work, but by November 2017, she was back in KL for good. She had plans. She was shortlisted for a modeling contest in Paris happening the following January 2018. But Ivana never made it to Paris. The nightclub scene in Kuala Lumpur pulses with money and danger in equal measure. November 2017, somewhere in this neon maze, Ivana Smit meets her future killers. Alex Johnson, 44, American cryptocurrency trader who'd been living in Malaysia for a decade. Luna Almazkizi, 31, his Kazakh wife. Together, they were as charming as they were wealthy, as dangerous as they were attractive. The Johnsons didn't hunt alone. They had a taste for lavish dinners, private parties, and threesomes. Lots of threesomes. From what investigators uncovered, Ivana first met the Johnsons through a mutual friend. One minute they were strangers, the next they were partying together, sending flirty texts and hooking up in 5-star hotels. Luna later described their first encounter to the Daily Mail. She asked me to stand up and dance with her. We weren't kissing, but we were doing sexy moves. She was beautiful, charming, confident. I was already melting. They even set up a WhatsApp group among themselves with explicit flirting. The seduction was complete. The trap was set. December 6th, 2017. The night that would end everything began like so many others. Mantra in Bangsar first, then 9 Club. It was around sunrise when they eventually ended up back at the Johnsons' apartment at Cap Square residence. At home, Luna said Ivana was hammered, but still joined her and her young daughter for breakfast. After sending the girl to school, the adults had sex. Luna and Alex passed out in the bedroom while Ivana stayed in the living room. At 10:15, I went back to the bedroom. When my head hit the pillow, I passed out. Luna later told investigators. The last time Luna saw her alive, Ivana was wandering around, talking to herself and giggling so. 1:25 p.m. Luna woke up. Ivana's clothes, shoes, bag and phones were still in the lounge, but she was nowhere to be seen. Strangely, this didn't alarm the Johnsons. They carried on as usual. 5 p.m. The police were knocking on their door. Ivana Smit's naked body was found on a 6th-floor balcony of Cap Square residence. She had fallen 14 floors from the 20th floor. The Malaysian police took one look and made their first catastrophic decision. Suicide. Case closed. But the toxicology report told a different story. Cocaine, cannabis, alcohol, and PMMA, a cocktail that could knock someone unconscious. PMMA especially has effects similar to ecstasy and can cause complete disorientation. Then real evidence surfaced. Bruises on her arms suggesting force, trauma to the back of head, grip marks. Most damning, Alex Johnson's DNA under her fingernails, not on her body, under her nails, where it gets when you're fighting for your life. Neighbors reported hearing shouting that morning. Her father later revealed strangulation marks on her throat. This wasn't suicide. This was murder, dressed up as tragedy. What happened next would be comedy if it weren't so evil. The crime scene wasn't secured. While the Johnsons were at the police station giving statements, they were allowed to call their housekeeper to clean the apartment. The police didn't just permit this, they facilitated it. Body temperature wasn't taken. Witnesses and suspects were allowed to communicate freely. The Johnsons could coordinate their stories while the investigation stumbled around them. February 8, 2018. The DNA report arrived proving Johnson was involved in Ivana's final moments. March 29, 2018. More than a month after this evidence emerged, Malaysian authorities permitted the couple to leave the country. No charges, no restrictions, no justice. While Malaysian police closed their case, Ivana's family waged war for truth. They commissioned a second autopsy in the Netherlands. Dutch forensic expert Dr. Frank van de Goot found what Malaysian authorities missed: male DNA in Ivana's body from the hours before her death.
Justice Ros Mawar noted evidence that Johnson's DNA was found in Smith's fingernails based on a DNA report dated February 8, 2018.
March 2019. Coroner Mahayon Talib acknowledged the evidence. Grip marks on her arm, the trauma at the back of her head, the broken bottles, and Alex's DNA under Ivana's nails suggest that there might have been a possibility that there was a struggle. Then she ruled it misadventure, not murder, just an accident. Ivana's lawyer S.N. Nair captured the absurdity. How is it that her body was eventually found at the bottom of the condominium? Surely a dead body can't walk over and take a dive. Somebody threw her body down. Later, in 2019, the High Court overturned the ruling. Death by persons known or unknown. The case was reclassified under Section 302. Murder. Years passed. 2020, Ivana's mother, Christina Carolina Gerarda Johanna Verstappen, filed a civil lawsuit against Malaysian authorities for their catastrophic failures. July 29, 2025. Justice Ros Mawar Rozain delivered a verdict that reverberates through Malaysia's law enforcement. The government was ordered to pay 1.1 million ringgit.
The KL High Court has ordered the government and 3 others to pay 1.1 million ringgit,
$260,000 in damages. The judge condemned the investigation as a profound failure of Malaysia's law enforcement system.
Justice Ros Mawar Rozain stated that the police had breached their duty of care in handling the investigation. She said the case represented a profound failure of Malaysia's law enforcement system.
The failures included premature classification of the case, mishandling of the crime scene, failures in preserving evidence, and inadequate treatment of witnesses and suspects. Despite this crucial evidence, Johnson and Al-Mazkizi were permitted to leave Malaysia on March 29, 2018.
Johnson and Al-Mazkizi were permitted to leave Malaysia on March 29, 2018.
Around 1 month after the report was available, the judge noted, "The case was reopened. Police must now report to the Attorney General's chambers every 3 months. 3 theories survive. The overdose cover-up. Ivana dies from drugs. Couple throws body from balcony. The fight gone wrong. Argument escalates to violence. The accidental fall. Disoriented from substances. She wanders onto the balcony and falls." But one truth transcends theory. Ivana Smit died because 2 adults made predatory choices. They targeted a teenager. They fed her substances until she couldn't protect herself. When something went wrong, they protected themselves instead of calling for help. Family spokesman Fred Achencho captured the moral reality. There were huge amounts of drugs found in Ivana's body. She was no longer competent. If anyone still had sex with an 18-year-old girl who was in that condition, that's not good. They should stay away from someone under such circumstances. The Johnsons remain free. The case remains open. Interpol notices have been issued, but their whereabouts are unknown. Malaysia's profound failure cost a teenager her life and a family their daughter. But it also established precedent for holding authorities accountable for proper investigations into unnatural and suspicious deaths. Ivana Smit collected 35 certificates as a child and dreamed of Paris runways. She deserved better than predators who saw opportunity in her innocence. She deserved better than a police force that chose convenience over justice. Most of all, she deserved to live.